Ah, the garden equipment, Vic. Do you know, Vic, whenever I do any digging or ploughing or raking, right, I have to spend hours afterwards cleaning up, you know, me plough, me rake or me shovel because of all the deposits of clay and earth and limestone that gets on them, you know. But I can't help noticing, Vic, how beautifully clean your equipment is. Are they new?
No, I've had them 7 years.
Well, how come they're so shiny and bright?
I'll tell you. And here's a tip for all you gardeners out there. I simply borrow mine from the bloke next door, which leaves mine completely clean and unsullied.
Well, I know what I'll do in the future, Vic.
What's that?
Make sure I don't live next to you, you little tea leaf. Anyway, have you got any other golden nuggets of information to pass on? For use in the garden, of course.
Indeed I have. Come with me. Come on.
Oh, yes, Vic. Here we are in the top-tip garden, at one with nature and all its produce. And Vic, may I firstly say, this is the most magnificently tended lawn I have ever seen.
Thank you very much indeed, Bob, and that's in no small part due to my magnificent herd of Jacob sheep. Come and take a look. You see, they're quiet, they're ecological,
Woolly, of course, Vic.
very woolly indeed, we mustn't forget that. Why should we? And if the supermarket's closed, you can always slaughter one.
That sounds great, Vic. But what I want to know, and probably the viewer as well, is how do you get that lovely stripy effect on your lawn, like at Wembley or a classy cemetery?
Ah, right, well, that's simple. You simply cover your lawn with strips of lino,
Yeah?
leave it for a couple of weeks, and when the grass has gone all yellow underneath, hey presto, lovely stripy lawn!
That's incredible. Hey, what's that chap doing over there?
You know, Bob, I've always wanted a bigger garden.
Nice one, man.
Thanks. And so, whilst my neighbours are away on holiday, I've got Clive here to move my garden fence 6 or 7 feet over in my favour.
Nice one indeed, Vic.
Thank you.
Now, talking about upsetting the neighbours, Vic,
Yes.
this is a good time to pause for a moment and consider the thorny subject of bonfires and where to site them.
And who better to ask than the former lead singer of ELO, Jeff Lynne? Whenever I'm in a recording studio in LA with George Harrison or other famous international recording artists, I always make sure I have a nice tub of lard about my person in case I happen to trap my head in some railings. That way I can grease my ears and easily slide out and still be back in the studio in time for mixing. Back! Get back!
Thanks, Jeff. Now, Vic, we've got the fence.
Yes.
We've got the lawn.
Yes.
What do we grow in this garden of yours?
Well, of course, we grow flowers, polyanthums, arthritums, dactyliums,
Yeah?
and trees.
Oh, you've lost me there, Vic. What's the trees?
Let me explain. Trees are mainly wooden, and they're either evergreens or deciduous, and draw their nutrients through a series of roots up the trunk and into the branches. Using complex photosynthesis, they draw carbon dioxide and expel oxygen, feeding the atmosphere and allowing other life, such as weasels and rats, to flourish.
No, Vic, now you've explained it, it seems so simple, you know.
Yes, it is.
I'll certainly know what a trees is next time I see one.
Good.
Yeah. Do they take very long to grow?
Months, but there's a way around that. You don't have to wait those months, those long, tiresome, dreary months of waiting for a tree to grow. What you can do is take a small tree
Yeah?
and sellotape it onto the top of a telegraph pole.
I bet that looks fantastic.
They do. That is one hell of an impressive tree.
What's this, Vic?
It's a football.
Yeah, but what's it doing here, Vic?
It's those bloody kids over there.
Is there anything we can do about this?
As a one-time Japanese or Japanesque admiral and barkeeper, I know exactly how important it is to nip acts of mindless vandalism such as this in the bud. This is what I do. Yeah, there, I'm teaching them about the value of money. Now they're going to have to work in order to earn enough to buy a replacement football. You know I spoil those kids, I do. I'm too good to them, I am. Sayonara.
Wow, this is beautiful. What is it?
Well, you know, Bob, being a nature lover, I was always advised to put food out on an outdoor table. But you know what?
What?
The little birds and the little squirrels come down and eat the food off my table.
Bastards.
Exactly. And what I've done is, I've nailed down this tin with a nail.
Yeah.
And I've taped down the top, and they can't get at it.
That's a good idea, Vic.
Isn't it? Look!
What?
My greenhouse. All right, who's got my tub of lard then? Come on, who's got it?
And here it is, Vic, your greenhouse. It's tremendously transparent. And Vic, it's a beauty.
Thank you.
But Vic, one problem with greenhouses is the glass falling out. What are you going to do when it falls out and breaks?
Ah, yes. Well, don't think I haven't thought about that. And in the eventuality of that happening, and the day will come, I shall save the expense of replacing with a window pane by replacing it with a sheet of frozen ice.
But surely that would melt, wouldn't it, Vic?
Not if it's frozen.
Ah, you're right. And what about the bits of glass that have fallen out? Can you find any use for them?
Yes, for the small pieces of broken glass can be used as a replacement for pieces of ice in a soft drink. And it can be used again and again and again.
Vic, would that work?
Yes.
Vic, would that work?
No.
Come on, let's have a look inside. And it's just as nice inside, Vic. And my eyes are immediately drawn to this rather tiny plant in this oversized pot, Vic.
Well, that's going to save me time in the long run. To save potting and repotting over and over again those houseplants, I simply put it in a pot big enough in the first place.
That's a good tip, that, Vic.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I do a tip in your greenhouse?
Pardon?
Do you mind if I do a tip in here?
Oh, no, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Houseplants, Vic.
Right.
I always had a problem with insects such as bees and butterflies coming along and nicking the pollen off the poor plants.
Oh.
Terrible, isn't it? Well, what I do is I put a bucket over the plant, position it there permanently. No way is any bee or butterfly going to get near my plant's pollen ever again, Vic.
That's a brilliant tip.
Hello! People keep asking me questions. They wish to know how to avoid getting stung in the garden. Well, don't use a landscape gardener. They're all crooks. They're good jokes, thank you very much. They cost a fortune, but if you want to know how to get rid of wasps and bees, the answer is simple. Just put a little knob of strawberry jam on the back of your children's necks. They go off to school, the wasps go with them. It's simple, yes?
Well, Vic, the garden's in full bloom and your plants look gorgeous.
Thank you.
But Vic, what would you do if the water board imposes a hosepipe ban?
God forbid.
It could happen, Vic.
Not in our lifetime.
But what would you do, just in case?
What I'd do is I would use Perrier water.
The sparkling mineral water?
Exactly. The shops never run out of it, as far as I'm aware.
Yes.
It aerates the soil and it refreshes the worms.
Of course. Well, there's some lovely horticultural top tips we've given you today. We've certainly harvested some great advice.
And I certainly can't wait to find out what our next top tip topic is going to be.
Goodbye.